Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Stacey and I'm an infidelity recovery coach. I specialize in helping the unfaithful in their affair and recover from their affair partner. Okay, so this video is going to be a little bit different because, not that the unfaithful won't be able to, learn from it, but this is really geared more towards betrayed. It's just something I wanted to make a video about because I'm seeing some problems that it can cause. And really what this video is about is 6 unrealistic expectations of the betrayed that will hurt recovery after an affair. So, when the affair ends or it's discovered, and the couple decides that they want to reconcile, they want to rebuild their marriage, they want to work through it, there can be some unrealistic expectations that can actually do more harm than good that I have noticed and that my husband and I had to navigate through in our own recovery. So let's get into that. The first one is expecting the unfaithful to constantly apologize. And when I say constantly, I mean constantly. A lot of expectation is, and I have seen couples do this, where the betrayed will say, you need to apologize every day, all day long. You need to apologize. You need to tell me you're sorry, and you need to tell me exactly what you're sorry about. And if you don't do these things, then you're not really sorry. And this expectation causes mistrust and resentment. Honestly, the message it sends to the unfaithful is that I don't believe or receive your first apology. Therefore, I need you to keep repeating it. This is not biblical. If you are a Christian and you're trying to rebuild your marriage, constantly apologizing is not the way of love. Love says we do not keep a record of wrong. If you are constantly asking me to apologize, that means that you have not let go of what the offense was. Now, I'm not saying that the betrayed is not in pain and any of that. I'm not minimizing any of your pain or anything like that. Of course it's painful. I've been a betrayed spouse. I know exactly what that pain feels and on what level you experience it. But continually asking your spouse to apologize is not going to prove that they are really sorry. If you want to know how they're really sorry, or you want to know a way to tell, then you can check out my video on guilt and remorse. Now, I'm not sure if that one's going to go up before this one, but there's going to be a video coming that talks about all of that. Remember, the unfaithful will read this as a form of punishment. So I need to pay for what I've done by constantly reminding you that I am sorry and making sure I explain to you every detail as to why I'm sorry. That's not realistic. That's not going to build trust. And yes, trust works both ways. It doesn't just work where the unfaithful had the affair. Now we need to build trust. They need to build trust. I need to be able to trust them. Yes, you do. And yes, there's a way to go about that. But you also, as a betrayed, have to build trust with your spouse because that is the reason why they had the affair. Now, that's the external reason. And if you follow me for a while, you know I always talk about the real reason why we have an affair. That's internally. That's our childhood wounds. But externally, the marriage is a trigger, meaning it triggers those internal wounds. It triggers us to go into that survival mode. So we have to build up trust for our spouse that you're not going to emotionally neglect us again. Or, whatever the case may be. I had to do it with my husband, and he had to learn how to build trust with me as well. So when it comes to an apology, we need to take that apology and believe what they're saying. Okay, hey, I'm sorry for the affair. Now, of course, there's exceptions. If they keep having the affair, if they keep going back, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not sorry. It just means that they haven't gotten to a place where they're able to get out of the affair. Getting out of an affair is very, very difficult. and it's hard to do without help. So, that could be some issues as well. But as a betrayed, you don't want to take that position of, I need you to say you're sorry, and I need you to do it all day long, every day, and explain why. That's not going to help. That's not going to heal your marriage. And you also want to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I demanding this? Okay, so the next one is expecting detailed apologies. Example, and I kind of mentioned that. Example name exactly what you're apologizing for. I need to know, hey, I'm sorry I hurt you. This is why I hurt you. I will never do it again. You don't have to do all of that. And a sincere, genuine apology is, I'm sorry for the hurt that I caused you. I want to work on the marriage. That's all that's really needed. If you push for any more than that, then now you want to examine why. Why do you feel like them apologizing is going to keep you safe or keep the marriage safe, or means that they're not going to go back to their affair partner? Number 3 is expecting sex too soon as a way to prove they love you. It's just a wrong expectation, because it's hard for me to say this because I really understand the betrayed's point of view, but when it comes to reconciliation, there is guidelines. There's a way to go about healing your marriage and getting your spouse back from the affair. And if you follow that guide, if you follow that pathway to recovery, then your marriage will succeed. It will heal. But if you push too soon, if you have these expectations, then you're just prolonging healing or even preventing healing. So when an affair ends and your spouse maybe fell in love with that person, they have to go through a grieving period. They may not want to have sex, and pushing them is going to cause resentment, further build bitterness. It's going to continue the emotional disconnect that they already had with you to begin with before the affair even started, and this will make it worse. You should never demand sex of your spouse. It's something you guys should talk about together when that person is ready, when you're ready to come back together, because sex should not be associated with something negative. And as an unfaithful, if you're forcing me to do it before I'm ready, then I'm going to associate this with the negative. And in the long term, it's not going to make me feel closer to you, feel safe, and want to have sex. And your ultimate goal of rebuilding a marriage is to create that emotional intimacy again. It's to create that safe space and build a firm foundation. Okay, number 5, unrealistic rules to follow. Example, cameras in bedroom, taking away all social media, and taking away the phone. Now, these are some examples of some things that I have ran into. You don't need to put a camera in a bedroom. Like, why do that? In my opinion, that's very extreme. One of my clients had that happen to her. She had no privacy, no time in her home where she could go and just be herself, okay? There is a way to rebuild trust, and we can take that to extremes. If you take away, okay, I'm going to take away all social media, you cannot have any accounts, that might be a bit extreme. Again, as a couple, you have to find out what works for you. We don't want to put our spouse in a prison. I understand trust needs to be rebuilt, but you, as a betrayed, have not become their parent. You are still their spouse, and it has to be a partner effort, meaning you both have to come to an agreement. We're not going to go into prison in our own house and in our own life. That is unrealistic. Now, do we have consequences? Yes, absolutely. Do we have to make sacrifices? Yes, because we have chosen to have an affair. We have chosen to break that trust, so there will be sacrifices. There will be consequences. So for me, I used to like to listen to podcasts and videos when I would take a bath. Well, unfortunately, I used that time also to speak to my affair partner. So my husband wanted me to not bring my phone in the bathroom. So did I lose that opportunity, or what brought me joy to like listen to podcasts and stuff, yes, I had to sacrifice that for a little while so that he could feel safe. And I didn't mind doing it. I didn't think it was unrealistic because I could listen to podcasts at any time. Now, I didn't go anywhere for a long time without at least one of my children. And he never asked me to do that, but I did that because I wanted him to feel safe, to know that he knew me enough to know I wouldn't talk to my affair partner or see him with my children in the car. I did hold back on going, shopping alone with just me and my friend for a while. We would always have our children. And again, that was something he requested, that if I went shopping with my friend, that we would have our kids with us, and we did that. And I did that for a little while. It didn't last long. Was it, inconvenient? Yes, it was. Did it take away some of my downtime, alone time? Yes, it did, but I did it. I took it away from me. So those were realistic in my point of view. Some of the things that I have seen come up with my couples and with my clients, I see how they harm the relationship more than help it. So remember, you do not become their parent. You do not get to punish them. Yes, there's a way to rebuild trust, but this way is not the way to go. It will just push your spouse further from you. Number 6, expecting them to be more concerned with your pain and ignore theirs. Recovery is two-sided. So dismissing your partner's pain will not create a safe space and emotional connection, and you will not be able to repair the broken bond. A lot of times with affair, recovery, rebuilding the relationship, that kind of thing, when it comes to that, I see a lot of people think it has to be just about the betrayed spouse, and it cannot be just about the betrayed spouse. I understand the hurt, the pain, the frustration, but all of the focus cannot be on your pain, because you have to remember what your goal is in rebuilding the marriage. It's rebuilding a marriage, and a marriage is a partnership. It's teamwork. It's a friendship. So if you want me to focus just on your pain and you dismiss my pain, that's telling me that you are still doing the same things that you were doing before I had the affair. So if I'm a wife and I go to my husband and I'm trying to talk about some things I'm upset about, and you dismiss me and you act like you didn't hear anything I said or nothing changes, and then here comes the affair, now we're in this place where, we realize our marriage is in trouble and we want to work on it, and then we're like, let's rebuild it, and you're still dismissing me. Well, I'm not going to open my heart back up to you, because that part of you has not changed. Healing has to come from both sides. It cannot be one-sided. If you want your marriage to work, then you have to work together. It cannot all be about what you're going to do for me, what you're going to do to make this up, how you're going to make things better, apologize constantly. It cannot be any of that. It doesn't work, and it makes things harder, and I see a lot of marriages fall apart because of this. Okay, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.